What's going on there, Reject Nation? Greg and John here. If you haven't seen our reaction to the Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage trailer that we covered at 6 a.m., it is up here on the channel. Make sure to give all those Google AdSense earnings over to RCA. Yeah. No matter what you do to try to mute those songs, any little bit, they go, nope, the whole video's ours. With that in mind, we're gonna watch the trailer breakdown and Easter eggs explained from Heavy Spoilers. At this moment in time, we are scheduled to conduct an interview with Heavy Spoilers tomorrow morning that we keep having to reschedule because something keeps coming out. Hopefully it goes through, but wanted to keep reminding people about that. So I was like, you know what? For the Easter eggs and breakdown, this guy's been killing it lately. Paul, let's see what you got to say about Venom 2.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and when this video gets out, we're gonna let there be carnage. Now, the trailer for Venom 2 has just dropped, and it's so good, Eminem is about to make the best rap song of all time about it. Throughout this video, we're gonna be going through the ins and outs of the first look, pointing out some of the Easter eggs, things you missed, and our general reaction to the trailer. There may be some spoilers here, so if you like to go into movies as blind as possible, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoy it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel to never miss a video. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of Venom,
What's going on.
Let There Be Carnage, the trailer. Now the trailer itself opens in San Francisco, which was of course the same place that the first movie was set. We can see Eddie and Venom are pretty much in an odd couple situation, and the latter sings the song Let's Call the Whole Thing Off, which first appeared in the 1937 film Shall We Dance. This was about two people who would pretty much disagree on their pronunciation of words like tomato, tomato, potato, patata.
Just a couple months ago.
And initially the song was about refined accents.
Just want to say really quick, that rollerblading dance sequence I believe is all in one shot in that movie, and it is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's right. I watch old movies from time to time.
Over time though, it's come to be used in pop culture films like When Harry Met Sally to pretty much show two opposites having to try and work together until they end up butting heads over it. We also see there is one rule, which is no eating people, something that Brock established at the end of the prior movie. Venom is clearly sticking to this, as he makes some waffles that look like the kind of thing I'd knock up the one time my wife asks me to make breakfast. Make it yourself, you moron. Now, we then cut to him visiting Mrs. Chen, the convenience store owner from the first film, who Venom of course saved. When Eddie walks past, you can actually see a cameo by Stan Lee.
Someone in the comments pointed that out.
A lot of people in the comments.
Quite a bit, as in the next clip, we see that Eddie has still been visiting Cletus Kasady in jail, which of course ties into the post-credit scene of that film. We can hear Cassidy's voice narrating the clip, and he does the old speech, you know, the one that villains always do. You and me, we're not so different. That one, you know that one. Now we can see that the character has had his hair cut, and though it's not as ridiculous as the Sideshow Bob one from last time, it's still pretty bad. It's still pretty bad. Now in his cell, he's carved childlike drawings.
I think the haircut is much better than what it was before.
Yes, it was a big improvement.
It looks like a realistic version of a guy who thinks he got a good haircut.
Yeah.
Like this kind of guy.
Not a guy who pays no attention to that at all.
Now in his cell, he's carved childlike drawings into the walls. These include teddy bears and a tree in a later shot. Clearly they link back to his childhood, and in the first look we see Brock going through some similar drawings. According to leaks on the film, Cassidy has several victims that have not been discovered that Eddie is trying to find the remains of. This will of course bring closure to the families and
makes
mean
sense
that
with the
they
paper
finally
that-
know what happened to their relatives.
That the guy's reading too.
Whilst we can never fully verify
interesting.
leaks like this until the film is out, I think this is probably
like
true,
hidden
as
victims.
we see a police officer in the next scene being played by Stephen Graham.
The hidden victims
On
of...
this, the headline says the hidden victims of
That's
Cassidy,
neat.
further tying back to this leak. Now when the policeman closes the newspaper, we can also see a headline that mentions an Avenger. I can't quite make out exactly what this says, but it does look like it says Avengers Leave Nightmare, perhaps hinting towards WandaVision. Now on his newspaper...
What?
What?
What? Okay, before we jump the shark here, I mean, I love the idea of like this detective having like a real personal vendetta towards
Supers.
no, Cletus Kasady. It's supers. No, that's J. Jonah Jameson from the Daily Bugle.
Absolutely.
But Andy Serkis, I thought he said that they weren't aware of Spider-Man in this universe.
They are unaware of other characters like Spider-Man.
So is there another word this could be?
Or
Or is it just some Easter egg they threw in here and they said, screw it?
I guess maybe it's just an Easter egg or something like that. I mean, maybe it's just that they don't know Spider-Man necessarily in this world
Oh,
yet
but they know
or
everyone
something.
else.
But yeah, I don't know. That would be a great question. I mean, I feel like anything to do with Sony in relation to Marvel is going to be a little muddy on the content.
But that is pretty cool. It's got to be I mean, you see with the Morbius trailer with the fact that you also do have Adrian Toomes in there, so you know it's connected to the MCU. Slowly but surely, they're making it clear.
And Eddie's laptop, we can see a Daily Bugle front page. This is using the same logo and colours as the Raimiverse, perhaps linking into that, though it might just be a graphic designer got lazy one day. Unfortunately, I can't quite make out the headline due to the reflection in the shot, but it does say mind on it. This could be delving into Cletus's mind, and I think that Eddie Brock in this scene is very much going over the evidence. Now what I love about this
that makes
is
sense.
just how dark they're going with it. Cassidy in the comics was always a deeply disturbed individual and a complete homicidal maniac that took pleasure in causing death. As a child, Cassidy, similar to most serial killers, tortured several animals before moving on to people. It's suspected that his mental health conditions were caused by his father, who brutally beat his mother in front of him. Whatever the case, Cletus had a very messed up childhood that led him further down a dark path. He ended up killing his grandmother by pushing her down a flight of steps, and also tried to kill his mother by electrocuting her.
This is so cool that Venom's going to be PG-13 though.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I hope we get a Home Alone style origin. for him.
I hope they do a wacky version of him pushing his grandma.
Ooh, careful there.
Now, this was done by throwing a hairdryer into her bath, and naturally she didn't take it too well. She tried to kill Cassidy, who managed to overpower her, and then Cletus's father took the fall, though we all know who it really was. Either way, he was sent to the St. Esther's Home for Boys, which was an orphanage. Here he was mocked by the staff and children because of his antisocial behaviour. He pushed a girl who rejected him in front of a bus and ended up burning down the orphanage. So all around nice guy, and definitely someone that you really want to be friends with.
Oh, damn, really? Hold on a second. It looks like it could be the orphanage.
Certainly. I mean, it's got that, like big old house where you got a whole bunch of people living kind of vibe. It's homey.
And in the trailer, we see the preparation for his execution being put into place. However, it backfires, and he manages to escape because Carnage takes over. We do know that there existed several versions of the symbiote, but how they explain him getting one, I have no idea. Potentially, the prison riot we see leads to Venom breaking it up, and during the chaos, some of him might get on Cassidy, but let me know your theories below.
I bet Morbius is in that prison too.
I think you're probably absolutely right about that, yeah.
He's in San Francisco and Morbius. I mean, this Ravencroft is in San
Raven,
Francisco. He's probably in there.
Yeah, and I mean,
Ravencroft.
we've already got shots of him in the orange jumpsuit.
Maybe you'll
so-
see like Adrian Toomes and Morbius. Damn, I'm blanking on everyone's name right now.
Michael
2 hours sleep.
Morbius.
Michael Morbius.
Mondo.
It's Scorpion.
Yeah, what's that guy's name?
The actor's name is Craven the Hunter.
Craven the Hunter, yeah, my favorite actor from Better Call
Yeah, no,
Saul.
no,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was great.
I cut to a shot of Anne, played by Michelle Williams, meeting Eddie in a restaurant. I just hope they don't
Still in the
monster,
movie.
eh? Having that. Now, we then go to Ravencroft, which in the Marvel Universe is an institute for the criminally insane. This is pretty much your Arkham Asylum in Marvel Comics, and I think that Cletus will bust several villains out of this, including one we see close up here. This is Shriek, the girlfriend of Cassidy, who becomes a big villain in the Maximum Carnage story. Shriek is played by Naomi Harris of James Bond fame, and has a marking around her eye that is clearly playing on the comic version of the character. We can catch her in a cell at one point while shrieking, so yeah, I'm not the only one who does crap puns.
That is like when the Punisher series season 2 did Jigsaw.
Like a sort of referential, but
Like,
not,
let's just have like a little line.
like Jigsaw, kinda. Let's just do a hint. Her eye has a thing. That's the same thing.
It's like barely noticeable.
And they are clearly playing it very close to the source material. In the first film, we saw as several homeless people were experimented on, so it's even possible that similar things were done to the prisoners, which is how she can do this. When the guards and orderlies go to visit her in her cell, they have big earmuffs covering their heads, so maybe she has always had this ability in the film universe. Now there's also a spider which gets crushed by Cletus whilst he talks about a rescuer who never comes. Clearly this is a reference to Spider-Man, and if this movie is linked in with the MCU, then Peter obviously has his own problems to worry about right now. Now it's not too long before we get our first look at Carnage, and he looks incredible. They really captured the look of the comics and managed to magnify the horrifying aspects of him.
Makes me so
He smashes helicopters and cars, and generally just looks great. Now he also manifests several weapons, which was a big thing that he and the
Can you just believe it? We got him. We got Carnage to life, people. That is nuts.
Yeah.
That is nutty. That just blows my mind.
Nasty tendrils and all.
Like to be here and just be like, damn, we're really getting Carnage. That is so crazy to me. We live in a day and age where we got Carnage, and also we can commit Carnage in the streets if we want to.
Absolutely. That's what I'm waiting for.
Cletus Kasady, our new hero.
Venom 3 is going to be all about Carnage. He's going to be the new anti-hero. They're going to be like, you know, those murders, it's fine. You helped the city once. It's good. You're an anti-hero now.
Now he also manifests several weapons, which was a big thing that he and the symbiotes in general are capable of. We then see the rest of the scene from the convenience store, and this is a callback to the first Venom trailer, which ended in a similar way. However, that's not all, and our final shot is of Carnage in a church. Why this is important is because in general, symbiotes are weak to sonics, most notably church bells. Throughout the comics, churches have been used as key locations to bring them down, and at one point in the trailer, we do see Venom travelling to one. I think that this will be where the final battle is held at, and it will be how Brock manages to take Carnage down by using sound as a weapon. However, Carnage also has Shriek on his side, so it will be interesting to see how she is utilised, as she could provide a big obstacle for him.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a brilliant finish to this trailer, and it shows the big bad off in all his glory.
Yeah, if my memory is not the sharpest at the moment right now, but from what's coming to mind a little bit is, I believe in the comics, Carnage working with Shriek, they do kind of create this like family, and then they do have this influence over the people where there's literally Carnage running through the streets. So I was kind of wondering if this church shot is
he just going to start infecting like tons and tons of people or something like that?
and like presenting himself as some sort of deity in a way, you know?
That would be incredibly twisted, and it would be conceptually twisted in a way that's not solely reliant on gore.
Like they're saying, let there be carnage, and then the fact that they have Shriek in here, I'm wondering if that will sort of play into it, or maybe it is just a cool showdown finale. Well, Venom traditionally, I mean, like the main thing that people know is like when he got this symbiote, it was in a church. So I think it's kind of cool to bring it back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's a shot you can throw in that's going to get people talking, and that easily could be like a third act, like, oh, here's the big showdown.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be, because, yeah, of all the sort of relevance of church settings to these characters and whatnot. And also, it's a good opportunity to get you going, Spider-Man 3!
I have to say, I really enjoyed it. I don't know what it is with Sony trailers, but this one and the previous one for Morbius both had a really shadowy aesthetic to them that makes it feel like the studio are leaning into the darker side of these characters. We don't have a rating for it just yet, but there are rumours that Sony are going to be going for an R. However, I don't really think that this will be the case, as they still want to sell tickets. With the company now being tied heavily into Marvel Studios, it does make sense that they would try and align themselves more with that universe, and though I would love to see an R-rated Venom film, I highly doubt we're going to be getting it.
Yeah,
you have to remember that the first movie was meant to be rated R as well, and we all saw how that turned out. Now, R-rated comic book movies can be successful, so who knows? Time will tell, and with a storyline about a serial killer, this definitely feels like they should be going all out with it. We have to tell Cletus' origin story and set him up as a true threat. So I do think that that would not only be true to the original source material, but also it's something that fans really want to see. I just hope that the studio don't put profits solely before the vision of the director, as R-rated movies can be successful, and it just feels like the direction that they should be going in. It's difficult to tell exactly how the film will be from this first look, but as someone that actually liked the original movie, I am quite hyped for what we have in store. There's so many other avenues they can explore with this Spider-Verse, whether they decide to link it in with the bigger storyline of the work or not, and I am kind of hoping that Sony use these characters to go down avenues that the studio heads at Marvel would be afraid to.
Yeah.
Why I'm excited after seeing this is because it does indeed look like that is the route that they're traversing, and there are a ton of things in
I
this
like this
trailer
little
that have me
commentary piece you
extremely
got here,
excited
man.
for the movie. At this rate, it's going to be one of the biggest comic book films of 2021, which, though it isn't hard, it does show that Sony have the potential to really sweep the board with their properties. Overall, this has got me really excited for the movie, and I can't wait to see what it's like when it releases.
No,
later
good
this
that
year.
looks, yeah.
Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the trailer, and if there's anything we missed. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video, then please drop a thumbs up, and make sure you check out our breakdown of the Shang-Chi trailer, which will be linked on screen right now. We've gone over everything you need to know about the characters in it, so it's definitely worth checking out if you have any questions over the film. With that out of the way, I've been Paul, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.
That was great, Paul. Yeah, I completely echo all those sentiments
You'll
that you
always
say at the end there. And I don't think they're gonna do what we want, but but I mean, especially with Cletus Kasady's origin, I think you could just have him learn it and like they tell it. You know, they don't have to. You don't have to show it, you know, especially for that.
There's a lot you can do with a well-timed monologue and a good performance. You know, there's a lot that you can do with that. And I feel like, yeah, it would be a shame not to be able to see the horrific side of Cletus Kasady, but you can touch upon it in a PG-13 environment, I feel like.
Just push the PG-13 rating is all I
Push
want.
it to
At
the
least.
limits.
Just push it to the point where you feel like you're this close to being rated R, but you're not there, so you're a little satisfied. Anyway, guys, subscribe to Paul from Heavy Spoilers if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to The Real Rejects, click that notification bell, hit that like button. Hey, we'll catch you guys soon.